Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucia and this is Lulu's Leaves. So today I have a video for you guys. It has been highly requested. I'm going to be doing my Hoya collection. So I did do a little Hoya collection in my Hoya care video, which was quite a few videos ago now, but that collection has also rapidly grown and I'm out of control. So I thought that I would update you guys and show you guys some growth updates as well, because my Mars Hydro Grow Light has been putting in time. She's been doing the work and I'm very impressed. So I want to show you guys kind of those updates as well. But I think that I'm very close to 50 species of Hoyas, and if I don't have 50 species, I definitely have 50 plants. I have really been enjoying collecting kind of cuttings of Hoyas so that I can have more of them. I prefer to have smaller plants and more species rather than large plants and less species. So given that I have a small amount of space in my apartment, I do want to go ahead and get smaller plants so that I can grow my collection a little bit easier. So I think we should get into it. The last thing that I'll say is I have a good variety of large leaf and small leaf varieties. Yeah, I'm definitely more into the large leaf varieties, but I'm not turning away anything cute and fluffy and small. And that's the truth. Not turning away anything actually. Okay, let's get into this video. Okay guys, so this is a basic overview of kind of what's in my fish tank terrarium. Got my grow light there, and I've been keeping some out front here too, just because there's not a ton of room inside. But I will actually pull out each individual plant here and talk about it for you guys. But yeah, this is the setup. I have started to label all of my plants that are in the terrarium, or at least the ones that are in these little cups, because I think it's really cute, and if I have any friends over and they don't know what the plants are, I can easily just have them read those. They're curious. I guess before we start pulling everything out, I'll just start with what's up here. So the first plant we have here is this Hoya RETUSA, and I did transfer it over to LECA. This one is from a haul that you will see coming up soon, but I'm really impressed with it. There is a little bit of yellowing, but that's likely because of either shipping or just because I transferred it into LECA. And sometimes you do lose leaves, especially some of the smaller leaves. It's just, they're easier to go, right? If it was a thicker succulent leaf, would probably take a little bit longer to get to that state, but yeah, it is doing well. I haven't seen it declining too much, so I'm going to continue to keep it in here. Oh yeah, this is just a little piece that fell off. I'm going to continue to keep it in here and hope and pray that that works itself out. But it looks really cute in this jar. So next up, we actually have a little bit of a failure here. This is my Hoya MACROPHYLLA. This guy was looking really good. I've had it for about 2 months now, and then it all of a sudden started yellowing. I checked the roots. Some of them were rotted, some of them were not, but I repotted them and it should have been good. Like all of my other Hoyas that are in soil do really well in the soil mixture that I use, but this one could not recover. So I put it into LECA thinking maybe that would solve my problems, and these guys are definitely gonna go soon. Oh, here's my little cutting. These guys are definitely going to go soon. This leaf might have a chance, and even if I can save one leaf, I'll be happy. And this one's a nice one. So let's hope and pray that this guy sticks around, but we'll see. This is just a cutting that I took of this Hoya CURTISII. I'm probably gonna have to put it into water and then transfer it into LECA. It doesn't want to stay in here very well. Yeah, I'll deal with that later, but I do have a Hoya CURTISII plant, or CURTISII, sorry. I need to figure that out. It's CURTISII. But yes, this one needs to go in some water just to start that rooting process. Most of these I've been able to do straight in LECA, but this one has a little bit less of a stem there to get those roots from, so it's a little bit more difficult to stick that in there. Then I have my Hoya ENGLARIANA. I actually have no idea if that's what this is. It looks like it, but every picture I've seen on the internet is a much thicker stemmed Hoya. My understanding is that this is just an immature one basically, but it's really cute. I just got it in a trade a while ago. It was kind of an add-on little extra, but I'm really happy with it. I really hope that it puts out an offshoot so that we can have more than just the one stem, but eventually, if not, I'll just propagate it. This growth happened, this one was in the terrarium, and that growth happened while it was there. It was pretty much at this node, that height there, when I put it in, so it kind of took off, and it still gets some ambient light from the grow light right here, so yeah, it does seem to be very happy. This guy is also not very happy. This is my Hoya Finlaysonii Splash. I should have really started off with the happy ones because I feel like this seems like a failure so far. But this one actually came to me with a fungal infection. The other leaf had a fungal infection, and it was such a beautiful large leaf. Like, it was the size of my hand. But basically this one is declining as well. I hope that I can save it enough so that it will last until it puts out more growth. But I did just recently put it into LECA because it's been super wrinkly. So let's hope and pray that this one sticks around long enough to give me another leaf, and I can just chop that one off. Then next up we have my Hoya Wayetii, which is also a part of that same haul that you will be seeing later this week. Oh, okay, fell off, that's sad. It's a new leaf. Yeah, Hoya new growth is very sensitive and will fall off if you knock it. But this one is very nice. It has really nice borders there. They're really accentuated, I guess. They're very purple. There's a little bit of sun stressing, which is really, really nice. And I hope that continues being near the grow light. But this one is really pretty. It was also in soil, but I moved it to LECA because I wanted to try out some larger plants in LECA before I do some of my others. But yeah, that is basically what is on the front here, and I'll get into what's back there. Okay, so my Hoya Mathilde is honestly doing the best. You can see all of that new growth right here. 2 new leaves there, 2 new leaves there, and some of the larger ones are even new leaves since I have put this under the grow light. It is doing absolutely fantastic, and it's loving LECA, you can see. Ooh, might need to repot that soon, or readjust it, I mean. Yeah, honestly, this one is so fantastic. I love the Mathilde, it is adorable. And I'm really, really happy with the LECA and grow light combination. These growth points never would have grown so quickly if it wasn't under this light. And it's sitting about 1.5 feet from the light. It's not unhappy in any way, it's not burning in any way, so I'm very, very happy. And yeah, that's one really good growth update. I'm not going to talk about the roots too much though, because I will have a dedicated LECA video coming out soon, so look out for that. Then I've got my Hoya PARVIFLORA Splash. This one is also doing well. It's got some sun stressing on the back. This was a recent purchase. I got this from someone in Alberta, and they shipped it here. It came very, very well. So that's all new growth there, and it is taking off. Those leaves look to be sun stressed too, which is really exciting. I don't know if that's just how they grow in and it'll eventually fade to the green, but I'm hoping that that stays that nice red color. That would be ideal. And then we have my Hoya LACUNOSA ESKIMO. This one is doing very well also. It came to me very wrinkly. I think the LECA is kind of what solved that issue. No new growth yet, but it also just came to me like 2 weeks ago, so I'm quite happy. I can't tell if that's from the grow light, that slight yellowing. I think it just might be fading. I don't think that, like, nothing's declining otherwise. So I think that's just a little bit of stress from the light, and if that continues, I'll move it. But it seems to be very happy where it is. And I will just say that the roots are fantastic. This came to me unrooted, and LECA has kind of been killing it, basically. Next here we have my Hoya CALLISTOPHYLLA. This one is also doing really well. It needed a bit of a drink. The leaves were getting a little bit soft. This one still is a little bit soft, but this one's nice and hard again, so that makes me happy. Honestly, as long as one leaf survives, I'll be happy. These guys are so beautiful. There is a new growth point there. I don't know how that's doing, but I will continue to monitor it and let you guys know if anything changes. This is the longleaf variety of the Hoya CALLISTOPHYLLA. But yeah, this one is one of my favorites, and I definitely need some more CALLISTOPHYLLA in the future. It's beautiful. Next up, this is a new one for me, and honestly, this one is quite overlooked in my opinion. You don't see many of the Hoya australis ALBO marginatas. You're mostly seeing the Lisas if you're going to see a variegated Hoya like this, the australis. So I'm really happy to have one of these. They definitely don't pop up too often here, but these leaves are also much larger than my australis Lisa. And yeah, it's really, really nice to have one that is a little bit more mature. The stems are a little bit more woody, but still not very woody actually. Yeah, this one is beautiful though. This was a recent acquisition and I'm loving it. Okay, this one's really awesome. This is the Hoya INCRASSATA. This is also from that same package that I just showed you, the Hoya australis ALBO marginata came from. This was actually taller, but I cut it because I'd rather a shorter, more full plant that will eventually grow into 2 vines rather than just 1. This one is so incredibly beautiful. It has really large leaves, which I told you I am so into right now. There are a ton of aerial roots. I don't know what's going on, but it's also going to make for really easy rooting. This is very cardboardy, like this is so rigid, but it does have a very cool texture, very bumpy. Yeah, I really, really like this one. It's nice to have a few leaves on it too, rather than just 1 or 2. So this next one here is my Hoya POTSII Splash. I'm a little bit worried about this one. You can see the bottom limb here is the bottom leaf is very limp. Let me know if I should just cut that off or what. I also need to move it into one of these jars because this is not cutting it. It's just too tall and too heavy on the top to be in such a small pot. Yeah, this leaf, I mean, it still looks good, but it's just so limp. I just don't know what to do. This one is doing okay. It's a little bit more limp than it was when it came, but I think it's just adjusting, and hopefully once it grows some roots, it'll be able to sustain that leaf better. But it'd be a shame to lose this one because it is so beautiful. I really hope that this works out. If I do end up cutting off this leaf, I'll probably chop it here, just so it's not as tall and weird. But you guys let me know if I should cut this off or if this can come back, because I'm not an expert and I don't know. But I really, really hope this guy's okay because I love it. And no new growth yet, just because it's actually brand new, but I'll also keep you updated on this one. This next guy here also needs a larger jar, but this is the Hoya FUSCO marginata. This one is my ugliest. These are all of the ugliest leaves from my mother plant that I took a cutting because I want to get rid of this damage. It's either a fungus or it's just sun damage, but it hasn't spread to any of my other Hoyas, so my guess is that it's just sun damage. But this one is so beautiful. I'll show you on my mother plant later. These leaves just get ginormous, which I love, and this leaf is really beautiful actually too. But we'll see. I just wanted to cut it up to maybe encourage some new growth because it was doing nothing and it kind of was making my mother plant look ugly, so I just wanted to make it into its own plant. Maybe I'll sell it down the line once there's some new growth, but we'll see. All right, so next up here we have my Hoya FITCHII. This was a cutting that I got from a girl named Caitlin. I'll have her Instagram on the screen here. And there is new growth. The roots are growing so well in LECA. This was a unrooted cutting. And there is actually a bit of sun stress. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. But that leaf is a little bit pink. So we're doing everything right here. But yeah, this one looks really, really good, and I can't wait for this to grow more. I'm definitely gonna put this one on a trellis one day once we have enough to go maybe around a little bit of it at least. But I think this is a really cute Hoya for a trellis, and that veining is just amazing. Then next up we have the Hoya INCRASSATA Moonshine. This is a cutting I got locally as well. It's doing really, really well. There's no new growth quite yet, but it is just probably adjusting to its life in LECA. I am very, very happy with this one though. It's a really cute cutting. I like the way that it sits with its two leaves kind of pointed out. But yeah, this one is really cute and I'm really enjoying it right now. So that's fun. So you guys would know I had this cutting of my Hoya OBOVATA variegated version and it was not doing well, so I decided to order another cutting. I mean, someone had it on Facebook Marketplace or a Facebook group and they were selling this for $25 and it has a peduncle, an old one, but I mean, could always flower again. So yeah, that's kind of happened since then. But yeah, these are looking really good and I just wanted to fill this plant out basically. I was really missing having a nice full plant, so this makes me happy. Next up we have my Hoya CORONARIA, and this is the white, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that leaf is brand new under the grow light and so is that new growth there. So I'm very, very impressed. That leaf came out beautifully and quickly. I wish that this was growing kind of more straight, but again, I think I'm going to put this one on a trellis. I just need to get some materials and I'm going to make some myself. Look at that root growth. That's crazy. That is honestly insane. I'm going to have to adjust this one too. Next up, we have my heartleaf Hoya Parasitica. This one's doing very well. The roots are finally growing. They were looking a little bit rough at first, but I just cut off any rot and kind of started fresh. And now we are rooted and happy. There's a root there. And we are getting a little bit of sun stress, slowly but surely. And I'm sure when a new leaf comes out that it's going to be more sun stressed than these guys. Should be really exciting. And I love the large leaves here. It is a cool growth pattern as well. It's kind of looks like it's shingling, but it's not really, I don't think. But yeah, that one's really, really awesome. And next up here we have my Hoya CAUDATA. This one did have a third leaf, but I knocked it off and it was the best leaf. I'm so sad. But it is doing very well. There are roots growing. I saw them somewhere. It also is very sun stressed now, so it was a lot lighter before. You guys probably can't tell. The lighting is a little bit off today. It's kind of cloudy and rainy, but it is sun stressed. It's getting that red tinge to it, and I'm very happy with this one. I can't wait for it to take off in growth. It has put out this tendril with new little growths there, so Can't wait for that to show up. Then we have my Hoya sigillatis. This is also a recent trade that I did. This was already sun-stressed when it came to me, but that leaf is new there. This is new growth. There's just a lot of new growth on this one, and it's very exciting. Lots of root growth as well. These came to me as unrooted cuttings, so that is really good to see. But I can't wait for some more leaves to come out and this to be very purpley reddish color. I love seeing the large plants of these. If I get the chance to get my hands on a larger plant, I'm definitely going to do that. Last but not least, in this area, we have my Hoya Bella reverse variegation. This one is growing like a weed. Got new growth there. Sorry, I'm so shaky. Haven't had breakfast. This one is doing super well in LECA, and I can't wait until it is fully trained around this trellis and it looks like a cute heart, because I don't know, I love this. I'm so excited for this one. Yeah, I'm really grateful that I was able to find this cutting. It seems like everyone is looking for it, and eventually I want to spread some love and trade some pieces with people, but until this is completely around the trellis, I don't think I'm going to be trading or selling any pieces. So over here I have my new Hoya SHEPHERDII. This one is awesome. I got it for $18 at the watering can. If you saw that tour video, you would have seen me jumping for joy when I found this. Yeah, I'm very excited about this one. I think there's some old peduncles, so pray for me. Is that old? Okay, that might be new. Oh my God, pray for me, guys. Pray for me. That would be so exciting. Yeah, this one is super beautiful, and I can't wait for it to continue to grow and hopefully bloom. Then we've got my PUBICALYX silver, pink silver, I think it's called. Very, very splashy. I actually had another PUBICALYX that I got rid of because I didn't want more than one, and I just thought this one was so stunning, and I had to have it. Even though it's a very common variety, you don't typically see them this splashed. Like, that's a fully gray section there, which is amazing. Then we have my Hoya Australis Lisa here. Honestly, I thought this was growing a lot, but I don't think it is. It was in a kind of dark place before, so hopefully here it's going to do a little bit better. It has filled out in the bottom. It just hasn't grown a bunch up top. So I'm not super worried about this one. It's still doing okay. Here is my mother plant of my Hoya FUSCO Marginata, and look at this leaf. Oh my God. Like, are you joking? That's a Hoya. And it has some other beautiful leaves as well. I can't bring myself to cut this one off. It's so large, even though it has that damage. We'll see. That one looks really beautiful. It's on this trellis and it's kind of growing up. That end is dead there, but I'm not gonna remove anything unless you guys think I should. Then here, I have this Hoya species that I don't know what it is. The seller didn't know what it is, and she disclaimed that. She knew she didn't know what it was, so no shade there. This is from North Shore Tropicals in BC. And yeah, this one is stunning. I don't know if you can tell, but it's also very large. And yeah, I want to get it in LECA, and I also want to prop it up on a better stick there because it is quite tall. And yikes, this is like Gigantiensis. I'll have all the names on the screen. This one is from Plant Haven, and it's so beautiful. I'm very excited to watch this one grow. That might be some new growth there. And what's that? That might be new growth or possibly a peduncle, which would be super amazing. And it's just in a chunky mix. I don't think this one's gonna move to LECA anytime soon, but we'll see. And then here I have my Hoya CURTISII. This is the one that I took the cutting from. It's doing very well. It's already branched off a little bit there, and there's some new growth. I saw it somewhere. Maybe I knocked it off or something. Hopefully not. Or it's just grown really quickly and I didn't even notice, but this one is doing well. I'm gonna keep an eye on it and make sure it continues to do well, but yeah, I'm really happy with this one. The leaves are very plump. And I've got my little tiny David Cummingii or Cummingiana, I can't remember. But it's doing something now. It wasn't doing something for a really long time. And there is finally some growth there, so that's really promising. And it's likely rooted well now. It was in water for a little bit, didn't do much for a lot of time, and then it started putting out some roots, and now it's doing really well. So hopefully that has a few new leaves before the end of the summer. So I actually missed my Hoya imbricata here, but it only has one leaf. It did start out with 3 leaves, but it lost 2 of them. They kind of shriveled up and died, but I thought I would let you guys know that I have that one as well. Then we've got my Hoya densifolia. This one is really unique. It's not like most Hoyas. It's thicker than I thought it was going to be, but it's still more of a thin Hoya. And it is pushing out some new growth. That's a new leaf there. And you can see that's green there, so things are happening. There's a little nub there too. And we've got my Hoya, I think it's Finlaysonii chicken farm, they call it. And it's just a type of Finlaysonii. Really beautiful. And I can't wait for this one to grow too. I don't know if that's new growth there, if that died off or what, but I'm gonna be patient with this one. I don't mind, it looks pretty as is, so that's okay. That's it for here. I'm gonna bring you over to my shelf. I have the last of my Hoyas. Yes, so I have another Hoya RETUSA here. This was my first one and I really liked it, so I wanted a bigger one. And I got a bigger one, but I really do love this one. Then we have my variegated Hoya CARNOSA compacta. This was a wish list plant for me and finally picked one up last weekend. There's new growth right there. And it is so beautiful, honestly, like, okay. Work. Then we have my Hoya Crinkle 8. This one has not done anything for me since I got it. Maybe that leaf there, but I mean, it's only been a few months. It's not my favorite Hoya, but it's pretty and I'm glad I have it. I'm all about collecting all the species. Well, not all because there's way too many, but this one is looking a lot better. It was very, very wrinkly. And soft. It's still a bit wrinkly, but it's hardened up a lot. There's no give there. And that's because I put it in leca. And it seems very happy. It hasn't grown at all yet, but I'm going to be patient with this one. It was at kind of a gross nursery. So, I mean, you never know what they were doing with it, how stressed it was. But I'm very happy with it considering it's so long, and I only paid $30 for this one. So here's my other Hoya SHEPHERDII, and this one has not done anything yet either. This is actually one of my first Hoyas, but it's okay. I have another one now, so if this one wants to just chill like this, that's okay. I think I might be trading this one or selling it, so if you do want it, let me know. Then we've got some variegated Hoya Kentiana back here. It's not doing the best. I did have to cut off a few leaves, but it's okay. It'll be fine. Then we've got this Hoya species affinity Burtonii. I was saying that wrong the whole time. I think I said Burtonii, but it's Burtonii. I've got just the green Hoya Carrii. This is a new guy for me. You would have seen this in my last video. My Hoya is not doing well. It is yellowing. I think I need to take it out and check the roots and probably put it in some leca. It's likely got some root rot. Although I really don't feel like I water it that often, so maybe it's underwatered. I don't really know. We'll see. I'm gonna check it out. Then we have my Hoya nemulariioides. This one is always doing something. There's new growth here. There's new growth here. These are very, very cool. They have like a cardboard texture and they're very soft as well. It's a very succulent leaf. So I really do like that one. That's why it got the trellis. Got some special treatment. And then I have my variegated Hoya carrii. This is the ALBO marginata. And then I think last but not least, kind of least, no offense. We have my Hoya Crimson Queen. I'm also going to be selling this one or trading it, so if you're interested, DM me. I am down to do a trade. It is really cute though. It put out that new leaf, but just not my thing. I'm into the larger leaves for sure, and a little bit more unique Hoyas, but it is still beautiful. So yeah, that is basically it. Thanks for sticking around for so long. Alright guys, well that is it from me. I really hope you guys enjoyed that updated Hoya tour. You can probably see my addiction now. I'm a little bit embarrassed. I've collected most of these Hoyas over the last 2 months, so I'm a bit of a nut job. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, I would totally appreciate if you hit that button down below. And if you want to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, I would also really appreciate that. Leave a comment down below and let me know which was your favorite Hoya. I don't think I can pick a favorite, but I think it's that Hoya species that's unknown from North Shore Tropicals, or the Hoya incrassata, or the POTSII. All of the large ones I really like. Anyways though, thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!